And moving on to 10.3, now we're talking about subtracting real numbers. And as you already know from the previous sections, subtraction is just another way to say you're adding a negative number. So let's start with positive minus positive. So we've got this example here of 15 minus 7. Well, 15 minus 7 is the same thing as 15 plus negative 7. And so that gives you 8. Let's do a few examples. So we've got 9 minus 12. So if you want to reframe that as addition, it's 9 plus negative 12. Note this is an optional step. You can also just leave it as 9 minus 12 if you like. And then we've got 9 plus negative 12. So we have $9, but we owe 12. That means we really owe $3. So it's negative 3. Okay, or you can think you've got one positive number here and one negative number. So you're going to do bigger minus smaller. So 12 minus 9 gives you the 3. And then you're going to take the sign of the bigger number, which is the 12, which was negative. So that's how you end up with the negative 3. Okay, next one, 19 minus 5. You can do this as a normal subtraction like we would have done in chapter 1, and you'll get 14. Or you can think of it as 19 plus negative 5, and once again, you'll get 14. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try the next two. And let's do these two together now. So we've got 56 plus a negative 32, if you want to reframe that as addition. And then that gives us 24. Let's try this box in my answers. It's always nice. And then we've got 4 minus 17. So we can think of that as 4 plus negative 17 if we want. We're going to take the bigger number minus the smaller because we've got one positive number and one negative number. So we're going to have 17 minus 4 gives us 13. We take the sign of the bigger number, which is the 17. So we get negative 13. Okay, well, what if you have negative minus a positive? So now we've got, let's say, negative 6 minus 7. Well, you know from the last section, we could reframe that as negative 6 plus negative 7. So we owe $6, and now we owe 7 more. And so here, you're going to be going further left on the number sign. You're going further into the negatives to end up with negative 13. Or you can think of it as you've got two negative numbers, so you're going to add those numbers. 6 plus 7 gives you 13, and then your sign is going to be negative. I like to think of it as money. Some students say that depresses them because then they think about their debt. But it is a nice way to think of it. You can also think of it as temperature if that helps. Okay, so we've got negative 2 minus 5. So again, optional step. If you want to reframe this as addition, you can. That would be negative 2 plus negative 5. So you owe $2, now you owe 5 more. That means your answer here would be negative 7. Okay, so negative 14 minus 3. Again, if you want, you can reframe it as addition. You don't have to do the step. But that would be negative 14 plus negative 3. So we're adding two negative numbers, meaning we're going further into the negatives, and we end up with negative 17. So go ahead, pause this video, try the next two. Okay, let's do these next two together now. So negative 24 minus 11 is going to give us negative 35. And then we've got a decimal, but the same principles apply. I'm going to grab my calculator though. So, and remember, you can do all of these on your calculator. So I'm going to key in negative 9.8. Make sure you hit that negative button. It'll probably look something like this, not the minus button or the subtraction button. Okay, so we've got negative 9.8, and then if I go minus 5.8, or if I go plus negative 5.8, either way, you'll get negative 15.6. Okay, next one, we've got a fraction here. We have like denominators, so our denominator is going to stay the same at 6. And we've got negative 5 minus 7, or you could think of this as negative 5 plus negative 7 over 6, if you like. Okay, again, our denominator stays the same, so it's 6. Our numerator then is what? Well, we've got negative 5 plus another negative 7, so we're going even further negative to negative 12 over 6. And we're not quite done yet, because anytime we have a fraction, we need to ask ourselves, can we simplify And here we can divide both of those, both the top and the bottom, by 6, and that gives us -2/1, which is the same as just -2. Okay, and last one there, -76 minus 234. I'm going to do that one on my calculator. So negative symbol, 76, and then subtract 234, and I get -310.